Team, welcome back to the Process Podcast. Today we're sitting down with Harriet Roberts. We are talking about her transition from competitive athlete to running a really cool online business, Mahi. And in this conversation, we dive into all things social media, online businesses, generating leads, and chasing your dreams. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Harriet Roberts, welcome to the Process Podcast.
How good. Thank you for having me. I love it.
How are you doing today?
I am very good. I actually spent the morning at Disneyland, so I'm 10 out of 10.
Was that high on the priority list coming to Hong Kong?
We actually just decided very last minute that we would jump in. So it's, mate, how often are you here and how often is there a Disneyland? So it's awesome.
Harriet, why are you in Hong Kong right now?
So I was here for the Welfare Explore in Macau. And every time I come, I always say, I should pop over to Hong Kong. I haven't spent any time here, and I kind of grew up in this area and just have never spent time in Hong Kong. So there's not a country I don't want to tick off the list.
So is this your first time here?
I think I've come as a child, but yes, first time here.
In your responsible adult life, first time?
Yes. Responsible, questionable, but
adult
yes.
life.
Yes, adult life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned you kind of grew up in this area. Tell me about that.
So I'm a Kiwi originally, so from New Zealand. When I was 1, my family moved over to Singapore, and I grew up there till I was 14 years old in Singapore. And then I moved back to New Zealand I think I was there for 5 or 6 years, and then moved over to Oz, which is where I am now.
And what are you doing now?
I've got lots of little pieces, but I'm running I've got a home gym, which is not so much as like a CrossFit box, but it's like an oversized gym on my little property that we own. And so it's like a big shed on the property. I have an online business, Mahi Movement, and seminars around the place, lots of kind of little pieces that all fit in with that.
Okay. I feel like you just scratched the surface on who you are. So I think we need to do some digging.
I love it.
Okay. So we've basically gone from childhood Harriet, spent a bit of time in Singapore, moved to New Zealand. All of a sudden you're this business owner.
Yeah.
What about the in-between? So I love connecting the dots. What has happened in your life that's ultimately brought you to where you are today?
Yeah.
You can go back as far as you want.
I'm when people say they've lived a lot of lives, I genuinely look back and I'm like, it still doesn't feel like it was me in all those pieces. Just like you said, there's so many, there's literally so many pieces in there. But I guess it all started and a lot of kind of what I would owe to where I am now down to would be growing up in Singapore and growing up in Asia, and how much that I guess helps develop you as a person, but also helped me have good sporting experiences. I did a lot of gymnastics and swimming growing up, and I got to travel quite a lot to compete in those sports. And that kind of not only opened up the doors to competing in CrossFit and training in CrossFit, but also that kind of drive and my need for travel or desire for travel at the end of the day. So I guess, Singapore is where it all started.
So swimming, gymnastics.
Yep.
And I think if anyone follows you now, they'd probably see the big gymnastic influence. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You just brushed over CrossFit.
Yeah.
Very briefly there. What part did that play in your life, and what did that look like?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. It's I just think anyone who's done competitive sport when they were younger, just like people trying to, I guess, escape the world of CrossFit now, have that void. And I definitely had that void after growing up in competitive sport. And I didn't find CrossFit for quite a few years after I stopped swimming and gymnastics.
What age were you then?
So I had that kind of break between leaving Singapore, moving to New Zealand, starting in this I guess whole new culture and all that sort of stuff. And I didn't actually do much sport from say the age of I still did competitive swimming, but not a ton. Between 14 to sort of 18, I was in that kind of halfway place where I went from, I guess, being a competitive swimmer and gymnast to kind of, growing up in a new place. And it was that void that you also have when you leave competitive CrossFit. So I spent quite a few years in this like place of nothingness. Nothing. Oh God, that sounds awful. A place of void.
In a sporting context.
Yeah, in a sporting context, until I moved to Australia. And so once I'd moved there, that's kind of where I started to hear more whispers about kind of what CrossFit was, and started to hear about some people that were in the space of where I was coaching. I did a lot of gymnastics coaching kind of growing up. So I spent my years when I was in New Zealand coaching gymnastics, just as kind of like through high school, that sort of stuff, just like a little midweek job sort of thing. And then once I started to hear those whispers, it wasn't until I moved to Australia that I decided to give it a crack.
And what was that giving it a crack? Like, did you rock into a CrossFit gym and just join the class?
Yeah.
Or were you like, I feel like I'm going to be really good at this, I'm going straight for the top, which is basically what I tried to do?
100%. I thought I'd be really good. I was not. I'd spent that kind of 14 to 18 or 14 to 19 or 20 doing nothing, and probably partying quite a lot, quite young. The New Zealand culture and all that sort of stuff is pretty strong. So I'd spent a lot of time doing a lot of nothing, and then thought, hey, I still have this sporting background, I'm going to be fine. But yes, I literally showed up to my first class, and it was horrendous. I know that we had thrusters on that first class.
Always. I feel like that's part of like every CrossFit story.
Why? It was bad. And even at that stage, there wasn't that many CrossFit gyms. I can't even remember the year it was now, but I think it was around 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
So there was only a couple of CrossFit gyms. Anyway, I rock up and there was thrusters, and they gave me like an empty bar or something. It would have been surely a 10-kilo bar. But I ended up on a dowel because they handed me a dowel. Already I was like, oh shit, this is
like
embarrassing.
10 kg bars too heavy for the new girl.
She is hurting.
Yeah.
And then they had, just like a little setup that you can like go to on the way out. And they had couches and all sorts of stuff there. And I think they actually made me sit on a couch, said like, you can't go home yet, because they wanted to like keep an eye on me.
Yeah.
to check that I'm not going to like die on the way out. And I was absolutely rattled. And I actually called my mum, and I was like, I just tried this thing. It's called CrossFit. Like, it was really hard, and I embarrassed the shit out of myself. Like, it was not good. And she was like, okay, well, yeah, like you have two choices, right? You're either going to like go crush it, just like you always have in sport. And she backed me, and she was like, or you should probably like never show your face there again, because that was embarrassing. And I was like, yeah, 100%. So I chose to never show my face.
Nice. I was waiting to say, so I rocked up the next day. No, okay.
Definitely
so you didn't show your
not. I was like, I can't go back there. Like, that was so embarrassing, especially for someone like, you've probably done your check-in and you've gone, hey, yeah, I've got a big sporting background and like a bit of a chip on my shoulder. And I was like, I cannot show my face there again. And then it was that itch, right? Like, kind of a week goes past and I'm like, I know it was like really fucked up, but I also had like kind of fun. And I was just like, that's weird. I guess that's that competitive sport thing. And so then I think it was about 2 weeks later, I was like, I've got to go back. And I literally went back, and I wouldn't have stopped. I showed up every single day, just in the class, like just doing, just following what the class program was. And I started down the deep dive into the world of CrossFit.
At what point did you see that you maybe had like the potential to be, I know good is like used very, in very many different contexts, but you went, let's quickly talk about it. Where did your competitive, career in CrossFit take you? What are some of your biggest accomplishments?
I've competed in some amazing teams over the years. I went to Waterpalooza, and I was in a team like with Sam Briggs. That was pretty awesome. I competed in Dubai at the Dubai Fitness Champs twice as an individual, and did well there, which was great. And I qualified for the CrossFit Games, but it happened to be the year of COVID.
Yeah.
Someone had to be that person, and I was that person.
And was that person too. And Tammy was that person. So you're not alone.
How good. Yeah, it's a really hard thing that's like, I guess, a whole nother thing to dive into, like really hard way to, I guess, I knew at that stage, hey, I'm coming to the end of how long I want to compete, or like my longevity in my body and what I was feeling. And so that was kind of like the last ditched effort. But then at the same time, it's like, hey, perspective, like a lot of bad things happen to a lot of people. So if I didn't get to the CrossFit Games, like I also had some awesome experiences with some good people. So I think I went to the CrossFit Games maybe 4 times in the end, 3 times in a team. Now I'm confused. 3 times in a team, and then 1 time qualifying, kind of doing the open again in my gym, even though it was called the CrossFit Games.
Where did that all end? Where did that whole chapter end for you, and why?
Definitely, like, I've always been that person who's on the cusp of, like, it sounds bad, but like on the cusp of injury. And I feel like there's a lot of athletes that you'll see at like a local comp every single weekend, and you're like, how do you have the tolerance to just keep showing up? Whereas I really feel like I was that person who had to be selective, and it wasn't an ego thing that I didn't want to show up to the local comp, but like the risk was not worth it at the end of the day. If that's this or regionals, I don't want to do the local comp. So I definitely had to like play my cards right. And I knew that at that time I had probably, X amount of comps left in me, or X amount of seasons, I guess, left in me. And then for me to then choose to go a whole nother year after that just didn't feel like an option. And also at that time, I actually, like, going towards the end of my like CrossFit career, I was moving towns. So I was going from one place where I actually had quite like a solid like training group and a coach and that. And then I moved to another town in Oz, and there was no atmosphere there, and there was no drive. And I do get a lot of my like passion from people and connecting with people. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to, like, I guess, keep my standards without that community. So I feel like it was a bit of like body, but it's also a bit of, hey, this was a decision that kind of got made for me on the other choices that I made to move away.
Was it like mentally, did you want to keep on going, but your body was just saying no? Or was it a bit of both?
Yeah, probably a bit of both. Yeah, definitely. I still mentally would love to keep going. Like, I see people out on the floor and I'm like, I'd do that unbroken, like we all do. But like, definitely at the end of the day, when I start to, I guess, where that kind of line started to get drawn was when, for me, it's like day-to-day life. At what point am I walking up and down the stairs in X amount of pain and then saying, hey, I still want to be doing this? And I think that once that starts to blur too much, that, hey, it's time to walk away. And I also, I guess I have a lot of friends as well who have, I don't think you'll ever be satisfied. So when is the right time to walk away? And there isn't one. Like, could I say it was too soon? Could I say it was too late? Like, who knows? But the injury line and the day-to-day lifestyle was something that will always be something that helped me define it. Mentally, did it help me? No, definitely not. Like, I'd love to be out on that floor, but I know that there's bigger and better things now. So yeah.
Throughout that whole process, when you're pursuing the athlete life, were you coaching?
Yes.
Was that you? So you're continuing to do that on the side? Were you CrossFit coaching? Were you gymnastics coaching? What did that look like?
I was coaching pretty much full time. So it would be that kind of coach in the morning, do like, your mid-morning awkward time of the day, isn't it? That like mid-morning training session, coach in the afternoon, do that kind of mid-afternoon training session if there was a second session. So it was definitely that spend all day in the gym sort of thing. Yeah. And that was it really. Like, I didn't have any other jobs across that lifespan. And I was kind of doing that fight between trying to maintain a good level of, I guess, like financial stability that I can live this life, but also like that was going to take priority at the end of the day. Competing was. Okay.
So end of your career, right? So you decide that you're not going to continue with this thing anymore.
Yep.
What did that look like professionally? Did you just continue coaching the CrossFit gym? When did Mahi come into the story?
So all of I guess like that line between competing and building a business all came from moving from one town in Oz. So I moved from Sydney to the Sunshine Coast. That's when, like, I guess everything changed from, I had a lot of my connections in that town in Sydney. There's a lot of people to face-to-face coach. There's a lot of gyms there, a lot of opportunity to, I guess, like be with people face-to-face, connect with people, network with different people. And then to the Sunshine Coast, which is a lot more of, it's a quiet town. Like, there's a lot of surfers there, people just hanging out, chilling out sort of thing. So it was definitely, as opposed to, I guess, me making this definitive answer that I wanted to do that, semi-blindly went and moved to this new town that then kind of made some decisions for me as opposed to me actually making them myself.
Why did you move to Sunshine Coast?
So me and my partner were living apart for doing kind of like long distance. And I met my partner and he's like a country boy. And I was living in Sydney and I was like city girl. And he's like, I'm not moving there. I'm like, I'm not moving to the country. And so we basically just literally went on a drive one day, drove up the coast of Australia and we're like, you know what, this spot's pretty cool here. So we both ended up moving. It was kind of like our middle ground, our negotiation to move somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It like, again, it was that thing that I'm like, I didn't quite know what I was in for, but I signed up for it. And then that ended up making a lot of the decisions for me. Not knowing, I mean, I've always kind of been in bigger cities and not known what it's like to be in a small town. And so then that forces you to, I guess, like, yeah, branch out and be like, I actually can't or don't want to run a physical business from this small town. Like I almost push to have to be online in a way.
Okay. Before we dig into online business.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think I remember seeing on your Instagram, I think you were sharing quite a bit like in this transition time for you.
Yep.
You were sharing a lot of like, I think more on the mental side of
Yeah.
like releasing the old you as the athlete and like
Yeah.
embracing this new one and the challenges I think that you were experiencing. I still remember like maybe there was a post I saw in the open, like you're doing an open workout or
Yeah.
something along those lines, but
Yeah.
like the purpose and the intention behind it completely changed. And you were sharing some really good stuff
Yeah.
around, I think we're probably really helping other people
Yeah.
who are in that similar space of being like, you're still kind of competing, but why are you competing? Has the why changed?
Yeah.
And so like, I want to know about that transition because
Yeah.
I can resonate with it as well. So
Yeah.
I'm just really interested to hear what it was like for you. But
Yeah.
moving from being like Harriet the athlete, and I'm guessing like a lot of your identity is built around this as well,
100%.
to yeah, basically not being the athlete and then, you know, what you eventually evolved into. What was that whole process like? Was it easy? Was it hard?
It was awful.
Yeah.
Awful for you too, I believe.
It was long.
Yes.
It
yeah.
wasn't like an overnight thing.
Yeah. And I would say it's so long that it's still ongoing because
Yeah.
if I'm still sitting here watching a comp over the weekend, I'm still being like, man, I wish I could be there too.
Yeah.
Then it still shows that there's a part of you that really would like to be there. It was long. It's a lot of second guessing. It was a lot of, I think one thing that I did post a bit about was how, I guess in the space that we're in, we say that we don't want to be competitive, but we still have to put our name forward on a leaderboard. Whether that's in the class, you know, you're like, you know that one of the guys in your class has worked a long day and he sat at a desk all day and he doesn't need to be on a leaderboard. And we say, oh, it's okay, you know, you just go your own pace. And then at the end of the day, we go, oh, and Joe, what was your score? Like we still do that. We still have that element of comparison. And so how do you go from trying to like, I guess, detach yourself from being this athlete to, but I still want your score up on the board. And I very much found that. And I still find that when the open comes around, I want to be there for my crew. And I want to show that like, I'm still going to put myself, you know, into the open or whatever it might be. But it's so hard for me to then see my name on a leaderboard because at some stage you're going to get worse.
Yeah.
And my scores, like we always talk as well about like, hey, you can always get better. Well, no, look, my scores were great. So they're going to be shit now in comparison. So a lot of it is, I guess, like for me as well, just comes down to like, there was that really hard piece of it, you know, detaching myself at the beginning, but that the journey is so long that it's still coming in like fits and starts. Like when the open comes around or I watch someone do a competition or whatever it is, like this is still sitting there.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever detach from it in a way because this isn't just now in CrossFit. This is still like I'm letting go of me being competitive gymnast and swimmer when I was younger as well. So it's been hard. It is hard. It is, I think it will forever be hard for me because it is very much something that shapes me and it's part of my identity and not just my identity, it's something that I do value too. So even if I wanted to detach from that, I'm like, no, but I still really like honor this part of myself and I don't want to let go of it because we all talk about trying to let go and then I'm like, but I actually don't want to.
Team, I want to quickly interrupt this episode to give a little shout out to our sponsors, Today Well Spent. This little journal has made such a massive, profound impact on my life since I started using it. When I started using it, I actually didn't know that it was backed by neuroscience, but now it totally makes sense. This has brought a ton of gratitude to my life. It keeps me on track and focused on the things I need to do day to day, and brings a lot of context as to how each day fits within the greater week and the greater month. So if you, like me, really care about trying to be a high performer and want to do everything you can to make that happen, I cannot recommend this journal enough. Use our discount code, The Process, to grab yours today. So how are you now with like leaderboards and stuff? Will you do the Open this year? Next year?
Yeah, I've done the Open every year. Now I always sign up and I just put in a score of 1.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've done that for the past couple of years, because I also see, like, I mean, look, there's a whole deep dive into the world of CrossFit and I guess the politics behind it and all that sort of stuff. But I'm like, this sport shaped who I am.
Yeah.
So I want to give back to it regardless of whatever's happened. For now, this is the way it is, whatever. So yeah, I just find that's a way that I can still throw down with my guys. I still get nervous. I still want to get a great score.
Yeah.
I still want to beat everyone in the friggin' room.
Yes.
But I also as well have a big value for now, more so like movement integrity is an important thing to me. So back in the day, it was more important for me to get an ugly snatch and get an extra couple points on the board. And now, like, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but there was a snatch weight that I walked up to and I'm like, I genuinely haven't snatched this in like a couple years and I don't need to.
Yeah.
And I had a couple minutes on the board and I was like, I've worked really hard. I just told the guys, I'm like, leave the same weight on the bars before and I'll do a couple more reps at that load. Like, that's fine for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to do that. And like, sometimes I'll get carried away, but that to me, if is the ugliest snatch, like, again, I'm probably going to get injured or do something wrong. And it's now as well, it goes alongside with my business where I'm teaching like, hey, movement quality and integrity and all this sort of stuff. For me to then go move like absolute dog shit is like, it's not really something that aligns.
Yeah. I can very much resonate when but actually, so you were just talking about, like letting go of the swimmer gymnastic days, gymnast days, and you transition to CrossFit, then you basically had to do a letting go again.
Yeah.
I was just thinking as you were saying that about my first letting go, which was rugby.
Yeah.
And that wasn't hard at all.
Yeah.
Because I just got to a point where like, I just didn't love it at all anymore.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just want to get this thing out of my life.
Yeah.
And I had the next thing already.
Yeah.
Like I had a coaching business. I was already dabbling in CrossFit that I was like, I can see straight away that if I leave this thing, I can fill that void that you were saying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of competitive people have. I can fill it straight away.
Yeah.
Like literally tomorrow, I can just play my last game and I'll be like,
in the door of somewhere
yeah,
else.
I'll be like, well, in my own gym, logging on to CrossFit.com and just doing that workout and then chasing that next life.
Yeah.
And so that transition was like really easy for me. But actually, I say that, and I think actually the like wanting to part ways happened 2 years before that. And then, like I sat in this space for 2 years where I was unhappy. Every training session, every match, I'm like, I just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Like,
why?
I don't. Similar to you, like my body had started, I had a lot of injuries.
Okay.
I had started my business.
Yeah.
I realized that actually this is what fires me up.
Yeah.
What rugby once did for me,
Yeah.
which brought me so much identity, purpose, fulfillment, and then rugby did that for so many years.
Yeah.
Like achieved all the dreams I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
And then coaching just started doing all of that, but more.
Yes.
Because it wasn't about me anymore. Rugby was really about me and the fulfillments that I could have. And within coaching, I just felt like I was helping other people. And I don't know, I think a lot of people gravitated towards it because of this natural thing that we have as humans in wanting to serve others and
Did
help
make
others.
It so much harder than to let go of some sort of competitive CrossFit than it did rugby.
Yeah, well, so the rugby was easy and CrossFit was transitioned really easily into that. But why giving up the CrossFit athlete persona was really hard was because I still loved it.
Yeah.
I still loved it, and my whole business is still in it.
Yeah.
Like nothing changed in my life. I'm still coaching
Yeah.
people. I still own a gym that coaches people. I still talk about it. My whole social media is about CrossFit. So I'm like, this is hard because I don't hate it like I like I started
Yeah.
hating rugby, you know. It was like, I wish, like you, that my body, you know, I look at my brother all the time, like, I
Yeah.
wish my body could still do that.
Yeah, his can't.
Now it can't. Sorry. Today is a bad example. Today is a bad example.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the
Yeah.
last like 6 years,
Yeah.
you know, I'm looking at everyone that I'm coaching as well. And I'm being like, how are you doing this?
I've said to a lot of people, like, if I ever meet, which is not very common, like people who have actually quit, I'm like, how'd you do it?
Yeah.
Like, how did you walk away?
Yeah.
Like, I really don't. And I can't, understand them at all.
So actually, you know what? I would say that now haven't quit,
Yeah.
but I'm like holding on by a thread.
Yeah.
But you know, I remember it was like 2 years of being in like stupid amounts of pain, taking an unbelievable amount of painkillers,
Yeah.
and then finishing a competition, stopping the painkillers,
Yeah.
and then feeling like, holy shit, I have
Yeah.
fucked my body up so
Yeah.
badly here. Retore my ACL, like can hardly bend my knees, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like this is not good. Anyway, that was 2016.
Yeah.
I had, you know, I was paying for a coach like so many people were.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this was a really hard conversation, but
Yeah.
I think I need to stop doing 2 days. I can't,
Yeah.
I don't think I can handle it anymore. My relationships are falling to pieces. My business is not growing.
Yeah.
I feel like shit all the time.
Yeah.
I can't demonstrate anything in class anymore,
100%.
which is embarrassing actually.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I need to just reduce and that, you know, this doesn't happen overnight. This is like you
Yes.
battle with it for so many weeks.
100%. Yeah.
You know, and then it just got to, there's normally a breaking point. And my
Yeah.
breaking point was I finished this comp, stopped taking these painkillers, like I actually can hardly walk.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
right, something has to change.
Yeah.
And so that was a first inflection point, right? I'm going to stop doing all this. I'm going to do one session a day, just 90 minutes. I'm going to finally fix all my shitty movement, right?
Yeah.
Like my shitty squat, my terrible overhead position. Like I want to actually fix it now.
Yeah.
And so then that whole journey was amazing because I started prioritizing parasympathetic type activities,
Yeah.
working on my mobility, and my performance went up.
Yeah.
I reduced my volume by 50%.
Now it makes it even harder to let go.
Yeah, and then suddenly I'm finishing the highest I've ever placed in the open.
Yeah.
And I'm putting half the amount of effort. So then I'm like, and then you kind of get sucked back into the old world thinking, well, if I'm this good now, imagine I just start putting the intensity I was putting in before.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, periodically there's just been moments like that, you know, like you do the extra comp
Yeah.
and then you feel great and the comp finishes and I'm like, I'm fucked again.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I just actually just can't do this anymore. I wish I could just finish that competition, you know, return to life. Nothing is taken away and I can compete again in 2 months. I would honestly love that. Seriously. That is like, my dream is always to be a professional athlete for as long as I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, body just had different ideas. Other life priorities got in the way, and actually I don't regret any of it because the things I'm doing now are absolutely what I want to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think now why I'm asking about the open is because like the last 3 years, I've reluctantly signed up to the open.
Yeah.
You're being like, I haven't done CrossFit all year.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen as soon as a workout gets released.
Yeah.
I'm going to step onto that floor and like want to throw the kitchen sink at this.
Yeah.
It's like you, I just want to beat everyone.
Yeah.
And I know I don't deserve to be doing this. My body, like I haven't put it through the ringer
Yes.
to deserve to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I'd still do it every year.
Yeah.
And honestly, Harry, I'm like literally messed up for 3 months. Like that, my rebound is actually 3 months post open. Training's not good. Like my health's not good. My sleep quality is awful.
That's also though, I think the part that makes it even harder though is being so much in this environment. And that's like a little thing that I guess softened the blow in the slightest way for me.
You
is that
removing yourself from it.
like unintentionally, yes.
Yeah.
Because when I did move, there was no big gym and no big atmosphere to go to. Like if I was still training with the guys that I was training with before or under the coach that I was training with before, like I would feel that.
Yeah.
But like once that, like just like I guess like anyone showing up to Proven or Mayhem HQ, like you tell me you're gonna go there and you're just gonna train like, oh, I'm just gonna modify this. Like you would go as hard as you freaking could, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that me being not having that environment anymore and that actually not being like I guess like readily available to me, just for the exact reason that we do put ourselves in this environment because it pushes us more, is that because that environment is no longer there, it kind of softened that blow because it's like, hey, that I guess that opportunity to take it a step too far isn't there.
Yeah.
Because I'm not surrounded by that as much.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to remove yourself from the environment.
Yeah. And mine happened to be an unintentional removing myself because I did move and I did move to this new town that didn't have like a lot of places across Oz, especially, like, you know, you think of a certain town and you think, oh, there's that gym, and you think of another town and you think, oh, there's that gym. You know, in Brisbane you've got Torian or this or that. Like, there is none, like no big gyms in our place, and no like not that many highly competitive athletes there. So it kind of softened the blow, because it was like, hey, if you want to keep doing this, like, you are genuinely doing it alone. And then for me, I'm a very people person. I love, you know, connecting with people. Like, that makes you go, oh, do I want to be doing this as much? Like, I do still love it. What's the cost to my body? Okay, yep, that one's going pretty shit. Okay, now what's the cost to my relationships? Well, look, no, there's no one actually here to train with and connect with anyway. So it kind of helped in a way, in a really sad way. Like, that's really awful, because I wanted that, and I still really desire that, to have a really big community around me, but like, it's not available. So what are you going to do? Like, you have to have a lot more drive than if you are surrounded by this every single day. Yeah. Whereas I feel like you have that. So I'm jealous. No,
but it's true though.
You have that, but
two
like,
sides to every coin.
Yeah, and that's going to make you want to go push, right? Because you're surrounded by those athletes that are around you all the time. But if you showed up to my gym and it's just like, you know, everyone's really chill, it's a really like cool, calm city, you know, you're not gonna be like, I have to push as hard. Like, the pressure is genuinely off. So yeah, gift and a curse.
Love it. Let's talk about your business.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Mahi.
Yep.
Which means work in Kiwi, right? Is
yes,
that right?
Yes, yeah.
The rugby boys used to always say it.
Yeah, I actually like spent obviously like the least amount of my life in New Zealand, but I moved actually to like the part of Sunshine Coast that I live in is called like Tanawa, which is like a Kiwi name, and I was just trying to like find something that I felt like would be kind of from my roots and stuff. So yeah, Mahi means to work. I mean, I say that in a lot of my coaching and my seminars. Like, I love to educate people, and you would know this too, but at the end of the day, unless people put in the work, you can educate them all you want, but if you don't actually do the work at the end of the day, like, you're not going to get the results. So thought it was pretty fitting. I have, like I said, my own kind of like mini CrossFit box, which is just my glorified,
which is beautiful, by the way.
It's really cool. We're
is that like a garage gym? Is that like that? You said it's on your property.
Yeah. So we have like a 1 acre property, and it's just a big shed, like so a really oversized shed that we've always had a home gym, me and my partner, and it's always gone from like, hey, a garage to this. Like, even when I had access to a CrossFit gym, always had like a home gym. I just think it's such a cool thing to have, even if you don't use it. I think it's great.
It's honestly like a lifetime goal for me.
100%. Even just to have like a bike and a squat rack at home, like, how sick. So we've always had one. Hey, it's been small at times, and then every single time like we would move towns or whatever, or move house, we always just got like a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So we moved to this property. We were living in a rental before, and then we moved to this property, and we were like, hey, if we're gonna do it, let's go all out. So we built this, like, it's not huge, but like, it's like a 12 by 12 shed sort of thing. And
how many people can you get in there at once?
Oh, look, you could have like 20 people in there if you wanted to, but it would be very much like a, let's pick the workout accordingly. It gets a little busy, but there's 15 to 17 like members per se, and it's just, honestly, it's like the best group of friends. So it's just pulling like your 15 best mates out of your gym. You have to pick them.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just like pulling them together, and we pretty much just, as a crew, we train together. It's not actually like programmed or coach classes at all. It's just like an open gym setup, but we all train at the same time every single day. It's unbelievable. Just to I guess what I was missing was that community aspect, and not everyone, like, we have some great athletes, but we also just have some, you know, general Joes who's just happy to turn up, but all just, honestly, just really, really good people that also have that desire to be a little bit more than your average athlete. So yeah, it's a pretty cool space.
Is it invite only? So like, is there a chance that I could try and join your gym and you'd be like, nah, sorry, mate?
Kind of.
Nice.
So when you actually go online and you try find how I can actually come and train at the gym, you won't find anything. Like you can't find the address, or you can't, there's ways to like go through some forms to be like, okay, they've got to contact me back. And all of it starts with like a phone call. So as soon as someone said, like, when they go through the page and they kind of like contact us, it already says like, are you an athlete who's able to look after yourself? It's not based on ability, it's all based on experience. But it's almost like in the kindest way, I've like narrowed it down. So when they're going through the form, they're like, this is not for me, or like, or they're leaning in and saying like, hey, this is for me. Like, oh yes, I'm capable of doing this. Like even we're like loud music, loud banter, and people are like, oh, I'm a bit of a shy guy. Like it probably won't fit them. So it's this like really not discreet target marketing, but like,
well, you just got clarity on down. You got clarity on who you want to have in your gym. It's the beauty of having your own space. And so then they have to go through a phone call with me, and then I guess I'm just doing like a bit of a background check. Do I want to be mates with this person?
100%. And not even that. It's like, is this person going to fit into, be welcome at my house? Like it's so much more than that. Like you're going to come to my house, you're going to pat my dog. You're going to park, like, you know, you're inside my place, you know where, like, there's a lot to it. And I don't want just like anyone and everyone rocking up. And so we do have on like Saturdays, if people message, I'm like, yep, like, and again, I'll be like, let's have a phone call. People will drop in. But for people, it's almost like they narrow themselves down before I have to do it, which is kind of good.
Kind of perfect. I think that's an example of a great funnel is if the people who are ultimately calling you are the right people, then you've done a good job of getting the right people to you.
And like, because it is difficult, like you have to really want to come, right? And so then they're like, oh, you know, I guess that's like with anyone wanting to sign up to something. Like if you've made it that hard, but they want to do it, they're gonna be able to find their way through,
and they're gonna stick around.
And that's perfect. Like I want those people. Like if you're not committed to sign form, then you're probably not going to be committed to your training either. So it's not going to really fit for you.
How about the online portion of your business? Tell me about that. I had a massive stalk today, by the way.
Oh,
just
good.
to look at all
How'd
of
you
it.
go?
The website is beautiful.
That's so funny. I'm redoing the website and it was done so long ago and I don't think
You're not
beautiful.
Happy?
No.
It's so funny. So you know what we were just talking about before? But you know what we were just talking about before? Like, you know, the perception of others.
Pursuit of progress. Yeah.
I think because I hear the name Mahi and now you talking about your little town and like the type of people, like the vibe makes total sense to me. And like the photo of like your little garage gym, you know, the shed, it's just like, it all just branding wise just looks perfect. Clearly you're not happy. Like you want to elevate it. But what about the online business side of things? Tell me about that.
So I guess that kind of, again, happened in that I didn't really feel like I chose to be like, hey, I'm coaching face-to-face and then tomorrow I'm going to start an online business. It was very much this transition from being in a place where I was in the city of Sydney and I had access to all these people to, I'd no longer actually have access to coach. And I had spent as well in that last kind of 10 years so much time on the floor and so much coaching, you know, when you're at that, like, I don't know, for me, it was, I mean, my tolerance is down a lot now, but like you've done 25 plus hours of coaching that week and you're like, yeah, guys, like knees out, but they're not even squatting. Like you're just gone. And I'd done so much of that. And I was so over it that it was, I thought, hey, I'm like, maybe I'll step back from that a little bit.
Was that all group coaching as well?
Yeah, I did it.
Group coaching is savage.
Oh, it's so savage. And again, I get the whole like it's the best hour of their day, but you're like, it's
so hard.
I'm not giving you the best hour of mine, so I should probably cut my hours back. So I considered doing a bit of coaching, and then actually, funnily enough, I'm really dogging out the town I live in now. But it is like a small beach town that I guess it's just like, who they have accessibility to is that they coach, they pay very minimal for their coaches. And it's just like, they don't really have much value for high level coaching. And I'm like, this is genuinely how much I believe I should be paid per hour. And that's not what we're offering at these gyms. And I was like, no, I have to hold my value. I'm not just going to drop it because I'm here. And I know after that time that I was worth it.
So you were basically like looking around the other gyms, seeing if you could go work somewhere?
Yep. I was like, you know what? Like I'll kind of dabble in this. That's fine. Like I'm happy to do some coaching hours. I said to myself like 10 hours a week, maybe coaching on the floor just to get that interaction. And it just really, it wasn't what I wanted. And it wasn't like, the gyms that I'd been at as well previously were so high level. I'd coached at some amazing gyms across Sydney, and I'd started doing seminars by then that I was like, I actually don't want to be at any of these gyms, which is, they're just not, it didn't fit. Like, it didn't fit who I was, and the demographic, like, a lot of them didn't want any, like, they were just there to show up. And so they had no desire for a high level coach. So like I had to draw that line for myself, and I'm glad I did, because I held my own and ended up with my gym, which was fantastic. But that kind of pushed me into the online space. So it was less of a choice of like, hey, I'm going to start this online business, to more like, this is where I don't want to be. And so the people that I do want to work with, they're no longer here and physically with me. So I'm going to have to push into that online space.
So good. Sometimes we arrive at the destination through like inspiration. You just know this is what you want to do. And sometimes it's a matter of like whistling out the things you don't want. And it's like, what's left? Oh, okay. Online space. Okay. So, okay. So when you arrive at that conclusion, okay, I'm basically going to go into the online space. Where do you start?
I think at that stage, because I had coached for, say, like 10 plus years on the floor, I already had quite a few connections from, I think everyone should start on the floor. I think a lot of people talk about that, but I had a lot of connections from people that I previously coached before, people that even like my previous bosses at gyms that I'd worked for were like, hey, you've got some knowledge. Like, we want you to continually keep helping our members, or like, you know, they were already grabbing or wanting information from me. So I almost like, I guess I knew the demand was there, and it's forever been questions about gymnastics from my background of coaching it. And that kind of pushed me down the route of like, what questions am I being constantly asked? And I guess like, how can I have a solution for people's problems? And it all came down to skill acquisition at the end of the day. Like, I want a bar muscle up. What are the steps? I want a handstand walk. What are the steps? And I love breaking it down. I really love
You're really good at it.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, you are. You're really good at it.
Yeah, I really just, I think that genuinely comes from that, you know, my years of, I don't know, from the age of 14 to 18, like the way that we break down gymnastics in gymnastics is so different to how we break down gymnastics in CrossFit. We normally fall back on these like, hey, there's these 3 drills, and we stop thinking about every single other component that actually makes up these skills. And I absolutely froth that, because that's what we do in gymnastics. There's not, I was actually saying to a friend the other day, I went to a gymnastics, like I think it was a spotting course not long ago, like 3 years ago now. And they said, hey, if this is athlete 1, there was 50 of us in the course. If this is athlete 1 and they want to learn to kick up into a handstand, now I want us to go through all the way around the gym. We need to go through 50 drills to get into a handstand. And I'm like, in CrossFit, we literally sit there and we're like, okay, here's these 5 drills.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right then we had to think of 50, and we were all like, we had the pressure on to do that. And I'm like, it just shows how much we can break it down. And we never consider that. And that sort of stuff lights me up. So
if you were to define Mahi, your online coaching organization, how would you do that? How would you describe it?
I guess it would be all around like movement quality, movement intent, a desire for learning, but at the end of the day, the desire for hard work really underpins it all.
And what does that coaching practice look like? If I'm a client signing up, what does that journey look like for me?
I guess at the end of the day, the people that I'm working with and the clients I'm working with are going to have to spend more time educating themselves as well as doing the actual practice. So you're not going to sign up to my program and be like, oh, I know that drill. I've done that one before. Sweet as, okay, yep, sweet. We've got XYZ to do. You're actually going to have to sit there. You're going to have to watch the video. You're going to have to learn something new. You're going to have to implement a new way of doing something. You're going to have to use a band different to how you used it before. And you're going to actually have to sit down and break it down in a different way than you have before, which I believe is going to then get you a different result than you got before. But that kind of, I guess what underpins it as well would be like movement variety. Rather than just practicing the same 5 drills, maybe we are, but we have a different intent, and we have, a lot more options available but they're going to take education. So you're going to have to sit down and educate yourself before you jump.
And most of your clients, are they CrossFitters, ex-CrossFitters? Are they people like stepping into like adult gymnastics for the very first time? Like, who is your demographic?
A lot of them are CrossFitters.
Yeah. It's like still actively wanting to get better in the space of CrossFit.
Yes, 100%. A lot of CrossFitters, a lot of people who have, like a lot of females kind of sit in that age group between, I would say like 20 to 40, who are just keep hitting that wall of like, I've got this X amount of toes to bar and I just can't break through to get this many more. And then I'm like, okay, well, there's a reason, and there are some components that are seriously missing here. And rather than us just work on capacity, that I feel like so many programs do. 100%. Like they just put it into an EMOM, and like, hey, I love that too. But that's like at the very end of my pyramid.
Yeah.
The beginning of my pyramid is, athlete function. Okay, like first question, like how's your joint health?
Yeah.
How's this? How's that? Then we look at like, okay, how's your foundational strength? Like, I guess people would say for a movement, someone says like, I want to get my first muscle up. And a lot of people would say, okay, beautiful. How many strict pull-ups and how many dips have you got?
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm like, okay, beautiful. We can have those strength requirements. And I'm like, okay, how's your shoulder flexion and extension? They're like, what? I'm like, we can't just have the requirement of those two. Like, let's have a mobility requirement. Let's have a stability requirement. Like, there's so much more to it than just saying you need these two, because that's what they've been asked. They've ticked those boxes, even if they've barely ticked them, and then they still don't have the skill, and they're like, what? But I have those. And I'm like, okay, well, let's test everything else that actually makes it up. Whether that's them, say, working with me one-on-one and actually going through those boxes, or whether it's them online and I've incorporated it into a warm-up or a skills piece or whatever it might be, an accessories piece that they unknowingly know, but I'm trying to get them to tick off 8 to 10 boxes, not just the 2 that we think are these strength requirements. Otherwise, if you already tick them, then why don't you have the skill? Yeah. So I guess as a roundabout answer, it's like we're making sure that we're ticking off every single component that makes up the muscle up, not just the 2 strength requirements that everyone thinks so in the start.
And that's definitely what I see from your content. I think you're not just putting up the conventional handstand drill that everyone else is putting up.
Yeah.
You're just putting, and I think the fact that your drills are very out of the box, it just like sparks interest. It's curiosity. Interesting. Haven't seen that drill before. What's the purpose behind that? And then like it clearly shows that like, okay, this is an area that you care a lot about and you've got a lot of expertise. So I love that. Can I ask you, I want this to be a short answer, but I don't think it's going to be.
Okay, now I'll try to stay short.
Okay, but like the world of CrossFit, you serve a lot of people in the CrossFit space. Are you seeing that space growing right now? I know geographically there's these hubs, right, where it's like in some places it's booming, in some places it's not. I mean, Oz for me is like being like one of the earlier adopters, especially because we've been kind of like lumped in with you guys in Asia, in terms of like Asia and Oz. So like what are you seeing in the landscape there?
Like, am I seeing it growing or dying sort of thing? Oh, again, I would say I'm in a hard space because I'm very much in my own little bubble.
What's your feeling there? Like, you've just been at a massive CrossFit event this weekend.
I know.
Like what's your vibe? What are you picking up on?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit doom and gloom just because I know how good things were. And I hate to be that person, but if you were around in 2014 to 2016, everyone knows what we're talking about. Like it's because those people talk about it a lot, but like it was that good. And I just don't know how you can get back to that. And it's sad. It's really sad. But then at the end of the day with that, I'm just like, there's so much gratitude that I was part of that group of people.
Yes.
I think I saw a video on that actually on Instagram the other day. And it was like, if you remember these outfits from back in the day, like you were in that era. And I was just like 400 likes on that. I was like, yes, like that was a feeling, right? And that was something else. And so I just don't know how you can come back and match that feeling, especially the biggest thing that it comes down to me is just an uncertainty for the athletes, for the business, for the this, for the that. Like, how can anyone feel settled? How can you feel that something is growing and moving in the direction, like right direction, when it's so uncertain?
How does that make you feel about your business? like, you know, if the majority of your clients are like CrossFitters, do you think about that? Or are you like, listen, like there's still plenty enough to go around?
Yeah, no, it doesn't panic me at all, because I know that I don't care if CrossFit imploded tomorrow, I'd still be doing it.
Yeah, nice.
And I think that everyone else who's in that space would think that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like that?
I do.
Yeah.
I think for us as well, though, we have never, as a gym, we've never had the CrossFit label in our branding.
Okay.
Never.
Yep.
Actually,
Yep.
we've always been Coastal Fitness from day one.
Okay.
And you know what? You know why I did that? Because in 2013, when we first opened, we got approached by Reebok. I don't even remember this, but back then Reebok were like sponsoring gyms. So it was like Reebok.
New people
CrossFit
were like,
1.
who's Reebok?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
But do you remember it's like Reebok CrossFit 1, where Austin Melio and all those guys were at?
Yeah.
So we basically got approached when they heard that we were opening a gym, because we'd already been, Coastal Fitness had existed for 4 years already. They heard we were opening a gym and they said, Reebok approached us and said, we will sponsor you.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, basically you're going to be Reebok CrossFit. And I was like, Coastal? They're like, no, there's already a Coastal in like San Francisco or something. So you have to ditch that. I was like, oh, don't know if I want to do that. Anyway, so it was like, okay, I'm about to potentially change my whole brand.
Yeah.
I've worked on for 4 years, and my logo is just going to become Reebok CrossFit, whatever name I come up with. That was a little bit sad.
Yeah.
But I, you know, obviously was loving CrossFit already.
Yeah.
And I was like, the two guys at the head of this organization, which is Dave Castro and Glassman.
Yeah.
And I just knew, I was like, there is like something dodgy that's going to happen in the future, and this thing's going to come crashing down.
Yeah.
I just knew that I can't pin my whole business on these two guys. I love them, you know, like super entertaining, done so much good stuff.
Yeah.
But like for the longevity of my business, I just don't think it's a good idea. So for me, we just made that call. It's easy for me to sit there on my high chair now and be like, I knew it was all happening. But no, I didn't know it was going to go the way it was, the way it did. So for me, yeah, you know, we've never, the word doesn't exist in our branding, in our marketing. I know that's our reputation. People always think about Coastal Fitness as, you know, the gym in Asia that does CrossFit. That's all our coaches do it. We've got an online coaching organization that does it. But, you know, I mean, I do think it will affect us for sure. Like if CrossFit does, and I share a very similar sentiment to you in terms of where I think it's going. Yeah. Of course, it will definitely affect our business. Yeah. But like, I'm a big believer in mixed modal fitness. Yes. Yeah. I love it. And I think there's a huge market of people that will always gravitate towards something more than just bodybuilding or something more than just powerlifting.
This is strength and conditioning, and this is a bloody good way to do it.
It's fun. Like, you know, it's not, it's me. I don't think it's the best thing for the beginner, you know, who's never fitness before. But in the day and age that we live in, there is this huge, like, maturing market in the fitness world. And like, Hyrox has been amazing because of that. Yeah. All these people are now doing hard shit. Who have never done hard stuff before.
If they like threw in like one gymnastics movement, that would really be handy.
Burpee.
For me. Yeah, okay, true.
Come on.
True.
But you know, there's this whole like, because there's a massive movement towards that, and there's loads of people now in Hong Kong, like the local Hong Konger would have never done anything hard. Yeah. It would have been like yoga and jogging. Yes. That's been Hong Kong for the last 50 years. Now you go to Hyrox and there's 15,000 people. Everyone is jacked. Yeah. Fit, and like everyone's going hard. Like people are like a mess on the finish line. And 5 years ago, I was like, you would never see that.
How good.
But these guys who right now are doing a bit of bodybuilding and just running, doing wall balls and burpees. Like at some point, I know they're going to get to a point where it's like, what's next? Yes, 100%. And they might be like, oh, Olympic lifting, that looks fun and challenging. Gymnastics, like doing inversions, like like I think it's not going to die. It's just the word CrossFit might not be associated with it. Yeah, no, but I don't. I think that's always going to be there. Like even me, you know, not wanting to compete anymore. Yeah, I will go through phases where I'm like, I'm just going to do some bodybuilding stuff. Yeah, and I honestly get 2 weeks in and be like, I want to do like, oh, I'm going to do a muscle up, or I'm going to try a snatch, or something like, you know, like I've been doing this for so long that it's 100%. Like I just love the challenge of it.
Yeah, I guess that's literally as well how so I have all my skills programs online, but that's exactly what Mahi is at the end of the day with our ongoing program. We have options every single day, because what tends to happen is you walk into a CrossFit gym and it's like, oh, we're all about, what's like the CrossFit wording? Mixed, constantly varied, far out. God, I should know this.
You're really out of it.
But you say like, oh, it's all about constantly varied, but here's the strength in the workout today. Yeah. Like it's not really, like it does kind of narrow itself a little bit. And I guess that's how I created Mahi as well, is that when you open the program, we do have all these options. So you can go by feel, and you can open up and you can do a bodybuilding session. And then tomorrow you can do a full gymnastics session. And the next day you can do a conditioning session. Like, there is so much variety there to choose from. And I don't want to push anyone down an avenue at all. Everyone's like, should I do all of it? Should I do one piece, two pieces? Like, and I'm like, oh, it's totally up to you. Like, you're going to set your goals. You're going to set what you want to do at the end of the day, how your body feels, because that's a big one to me. Like, maybe I don't want to snatch today, and it is snatches. Like, there's only so much as well that you can modify in a class, knowing, you know, what you know about that athlete and what they've done in the past 24 hours that affects this session. But if you can show up and have that option, I'm like, so good.
So when I look at your program, it looks like you kind of have like the core program, right? And so that's what you're saying, that basically every day you've got multiple kind of tracks to choose from.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then you've got like the skills programs. Yeah. So I'm guessing these are one-off purchases that you've got, like, what is it, 6 to 12 weeks or something? Yeah. Okay, cool. And what does better? Like, from a revenue perspective, which is a bigger contributor for you?
Probably my skills programs.
Yeah.
Even though the Mahi is ongoing, I promote it less. People are on my page because they want to gain a skill. Most people. I do believe, though, within the Mahi program, there is 3 weekly gymnastics sessions that are broad. So if someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I want to do a gymnastics, like, I want to get better at gymnastics, but I don't particularly want to bar muscle up or this or that, or they have like quite a few skills that they'd like to get better at, then I'd say, hey, go to Mahi. Like, you're going to get way more, and then ignore everything else that's on there. But like, I think we all probably know that at the end of the day, ongoing programs help accumulate more money at the end of the day, more income at the end of the day.
Recurring revenue.
But to make the skills programs like that, it doesn't quite fit. As well, that's like a flaw to the system, is that you could probably create something that shifts on to the next level. But it's just something that I feel like I'm creating something that isn't going to serve me long term, because we all know how shit it is already creating an ongoing program all the time and being like, oh, I am actually behind and I've got X amount of weeks to create. So I was like, I'll make them as one-off programs then. And they're like, I would say reasonably cheap, like they're 100 Aussie dollars, $10 a week, you know, for a program. I'm like, hey, if it's not absolutely perfect and you need to redo a week or this or that, like, that's fine. But to create something that would be ongoing is just, that's tough, especially as a one-man band.
No, I think like both serve a really good purpose. I think when someone knows that there's a definitive like end line to when I can get the thing, it's way more appealing. Right. 100%. It's like, it's why 3-month body transformations, like everyone wants it. Cause like in 3 months, my life's going to totally change. And if if a handstand, you know, I can do this program for 12 weeks and I'm going to have a handstand at the end of it. Like, take my $100. Whereas 100%. Like the recurring stuff, which is like, you're not really ever working towards anything in particular. You know, I feel like people almost graduate towards that maybe when they've done all their 12-week programs, or
and
they
that's
just know
even harder with a program like mine, where it's like, you guys have like periodization and you have all this sort of stuff. Like, we have elements of it in there, but it's not super geared towards the open or this or that. So then I guess there's even less of a finish line. And I'm there and like people ask me, I'm like, this is about freedom. This is about this, that. And they're like, oh, you know, and I'm like, but this is how I train every day. And I'm still making gains in certain areas, but it's not to peak for X, Y, and Z. And that's kind of how I want it to be, you know, because I guess that's part of me detaching myself as an athlete, is like, I don't actually really need to peak for something. And I don't really feel like doing a 12-week back squat cycle anymore. Like, I don't want to. I get sick of it at week 2. Nah, not that early, but so I'm like, I don't want to have that. It doesn't serve me. It's not what I would do. So I don't want to sell it on to someone else.
You know what? And I think in hearing that, it makes total sense, because I've seen you talk about that with your own story. So I want to talk about your Instagram now. You just hit 200K followers.
Woo! Life changing.
Very good. But that is, I think that's amazing. So it's a massive achievement. I don't know if you think it's a big achievement, but I think for a lot of people who are trying, I mean, everyone's trying to grow their Instagram pages, right? And so, I don't know, it just seemed like a really cool milestone. So when you started Mahi, how many followers did you have?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like
I do know that, like, I never really tracked it because it never had a really close correlation with the amount of income that I was making.
Yeah.
But it was probably in this past year, I have tried intentionally to be like, you're growing your Instagram because it's part of your business.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely had that mindset swap. So I think it's around like 50 or 60K that I gained in this past year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that was with that, like, I guess intention to make it actually something that's like, hey, if I'm going to gain followers, they might as well be contributing.
So, okay, let's talk about this, like this last year of gaining 50K followers.
Yeah.
What has contributed towards that? How have you done it?
There's been deliberate intent as to, I guess, almost everything that I make. Like what is the reason I am putting out this piece of content at the end of the day? And there's so many different categories that people can fall into. Whether it's to inspire, to educate, to
entertain,
whatever it is. And I definitely started to push myself down the route of like, I want to educate. That's my goal at the end of the day. Even if you don't sign up to a program, I don't care. I really like to educate and I enjoy education myself, learning myself, and I want to teach other people. So it was definitely that intent behind everything that I would create. I'd be like, am I teaching someone something and something of value? Like I don't need to see another kipping pull up. Like I really don't. Like give me something a little bit different that plays to an element to, hey, we've got to play this game of Instagram that like people get bored so quickly. And so I need to make sure, but it's not so different that it's like, what's this bloody drill you're putting out that's absolutely useless, So just finding that middle ground between education and there being meaning and purpose behind it.
Yeah, because it sounds like well, actually, before I make this assumption, what was the intention of Instagram for you before you started your business?
Do you know what? Probably always to educate.
It always was.
Yeah.
So even when you were competing, it was still about posting educational content around gymnastics.
Yeah, it was there. It was always sitting in the background for sure, 100%. Yeah. Like I wouldn't post. I've always been a big, or not against, but and I am more against it now, but against people just posting their training every single day. Yeah. Just like at some point someone's going to stop caring what you're doing every single day. Like no one gives a shit anymore, Harriet. But if you tell me like, okay, I'm doing snatch balances today because they do this, and this, like I would always like, it's obviously a lot more now, but back then I would say like, these are good for, like it, to me that like, that's what I want to see on someone. That's what makes me stop. So I guess I was just like serving myself as to what I would want to see, because especially as an athlete, and I always coached, I was never just, an athlete first and then a coach second. Like I was coaching since I was probably like 12 years old, whether it was in swimming or gymnastics. And so like that was the purpose. Yes, it definitely went down a route of like sharing my journey of competition, but I would want to share secrets, I guess, to some extent. Yeah. Yeah.
I resonate a lot as well.
Yeah.
Like
that's exactly what I like. And I think it was probably how I started following you in the first place. Like, you're not just telling me that you did 3 rounds of bar muscle ups today. You're telling me I did this because I was focusing on, I know this cycle XYZ. And I'm like, oh, froth.
Yeah. It's just, I kind of like got to this point. And when I jumped on Instagram, I didn't fucking know what I was doing. I just did it because everyone else was doing it. And everyone was like, why don't you have an Instagram?
Yeah.
And I was very late to the game.
Yeah.
And then I think as soon as I like really appreciated that, it's like, okay, I try really hard to serve the people in my gym all the time. And I've got this free platform with unlimited viewers. I can actually just educate the world. And I think when I took on that mindset and was like, this is just an amazing opportunity for me to share the things I really care about with a massive platform now. I don't have to just, focus on the 100 people inside my gym.
Yeah.
Same idea for the podcast. It was like, how can we just take the conversations just a step further and share it with more people?
Yeah.
So very much resonate with that.
Yeah.
But can I ask you?
Yeah.
If you didn't have your online business, would you still have an Instagram page?
Yeah. Because, yes, but it would be very, very different to what it is now. Like it is now very good. I even looked not long ago at like, you can do like archive stories.
Yeah.
And it's like 2-3 years ago, like the shit that I was posting was literally like me and my girlfriends on a night out doing like dumb shit. Like we're very much, I think as well, I think we spoke earlier about being like a bit more put together. Like there is honestly like the Harriet Roberts on Instagram and this business and this persona that I have. And like the people that know me that know that I'm a pretty like wild, loose human, you know? So I would have it for that purpose. I would have it to connect with my friends, and it would be a private page that I'm just sharing my life, because a lot of the things that I do now and a lot of the, I guess, opportunities that I have that have, you know, been because of the accumulated things that have brought me to where I am now are all pretty wild. Like, it's not a normal life and it's all pretty crazy. And so I would share that, but it would be very different to what I have now.
Okay. So if your business was still going.
Yep.
And is that the intention? Are we going to keep Mahi going as long as you can?
Yeah.
And if your Instagram got wiped out tomorrow, gone, 0 followers, no posts.
Like it did the other day when I logged out and couldn't log back in again. And
if you rebuilt it, would you do anything differently?
Oh, would I do things differently?
'Cause it sounds like you're doing, like you're kind of just crushing it.
Oh, thanks. I definitely have a really good system that's going at the moment. So I have Pieta, who actually competed in the Macau on the weekend, and we have a good system that actually works, that isn't too like heavy in barriers. It's I sit down once, like, I guess is the process behind it, but I sit down once during the week, and I sit down with, like, it could be basically, it's just like a brainstorm on every idea that I could have for a video, or more so down the route of like, what have people asked me this week or in the last couple of weeks, you know, how do I move from neutral to grip to false grip? And I'm just like, neutral grip to false, like, I just have this like brainstorm. And then I literally next to that, I'll have all the list of things that I would, drills or ideas that I would have to fix that problem at the end of the day. So I'll do that during the week. And then I see Pieta every single Friday.
You just get everything done.
Yes. It's like we have days where like, we're going for a PR today, bro, because we normally have like 3 to 4 hours max.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like, I've got 5 videos that I want to film or something like that. And we'll be like, okay, I'm like, this one's really easy. It's just a side by side. It's going to take us 2 minutes. Okay, this. And then often as well, when we're filming them, I'm like, actually, this would be a good idea for that. And so we'll have a target on the videos. If I haven't done my prep and I don't feel inspired that week,
This is me.
2 options. I'll sit down and like cram like 20 minutes before, and sometimes it will work out, very rarely. But I'll say, I'm so sorry, P. Like, I will probably most likely like pay her for her time. And I'm like, but we're not filming this week, because I just feel like this world of content creation and stuff that we're doing, like, it has to be, it's creative. It's a creative job, and you need to be inspired. And I've never played the Instagram game, the algorithm of like, you have to post X amounts per week. I've never ever done that. Do you have a rule? Nope, no. None. Like, none at all. That's nice to know. It's so good, because I'm like, if I'm not inspired, then like, this is a very creative thing that we're doing. I can't post it. I don't have it this week. I have no mojo. Hopefully we would have filmed something in previous weeks, so I've got something in the bank that I can post, but like, I can't force it. Like, I just say, hey man, I got nothing today. And she's like, she might push me and say, nah, bro, like, you told me I was coming in, like, let's do something. And I might come up with 1 or 2 somethings, but if I'm not inspired to do it, like, we ain't doing it.
I'm like really quietly wishing that I was listening to this right now, because like so much of our shit, we basically got this like Tuesday slot, and I know. So just 2 weeks ago, I was like, right, I'm gonna create a social media content calendar.
Okay.
Something where like I'm actually planning ahead of time, scheduling out all my shit.
Doesn't that take the fun out of it?
I mean, I went on Notion. Do you use Notion?
No, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyway, went on Notion, was like searched, social media planning templates.
Yeah.
Loads of people create these amazing things. I was like, okay, gonna use this one.
Yeah.
I like literally sat there on a Sunday for maybe 3 hours and planned out the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was looking like all these spreadsheets like linked perfectly into each other. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Came into the office like, literally, guys, look what I did this weekend. I've got
social media.
And everyone's like, wow, holy shit, like, I always wanted to do that. And I'm like, literally, this has just changed the game for me.
Yeah.
I'm literally 2 weeks in now.
Have you stuck to it?
Nah. I sat down on Sunday. I literally looked at it. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I got nothing. I literally got nothing.
Yeah.
And then this week did exactly the same. I'm like, and now I'm gone back to sporadically being like, holy shit, I haven't posted anything this week.
But then do you feel like sometimes you just have all these ideas?
So I basically have on my notes, I was going to ask you this question as well. On my notes, I basically have something that just says content, ideas.
Yep.
And just sporadically, most days, I'll just open it and just write. I mean, my notes is a shit show. I've got so many different like pages of essays worth of just ideas. Like, how am I going to change the world of my business? You know, what do I need to do differently in the structure of my team? And I've got all these different subheadings that every day I'm just like, log on, write something, log on, write something. But then when it actually comes down to like filming it, I'll sit and I'll have like 50 things, but I don't even know where to start. You know, and I think what I need to do is, like you said, when I prepare for something and I've like maybe just written out a rough script or the things I need to film and put in there, it goes so much better. It's exactly the same as programming, right?
100%.
When you got a plan, you got skeleton structure, you know what you're programming towards.
100%.
It's so
we're squatting
easy.
for this amount of weeks, we're doing this. It's going to build in this. 100%.
If you just sit there on one day and be like, okay, gonna try to come up with something today, it never goes well. Decision fatigue, anxiety, constantly changing your mind. And I think like that's me just saying this out loud to you, which is the first time I've actually ever said it. I'm like, light bulbs going off my head right now. I'm like, Ed, you're an idiot. Just do what you do in your program. That's what I need to do.
That's what mine looks like. So I program in Excel. What do you program?
Google Sheets, same thing.
Yeah, same thing, right? And that's where my content is. So it says like the video today is on, I don't know if everyone's asked me about toaster bar. I can't get the last end range of my toaster bar. I just can't, you know, reach my toast. So it will say toaster bar end range. That's like the title or whatever of like the thing. And then it will say like, in my head, I'm like, what are the drills that could be helpful for that? And then it literally has title of the video, things that could be filmed to help contribute to it. And then it will even have like from there, it will be like, what is this then leading to? Like, is this going to give like that can be like the business side of it? Is this going to lead to, they're going to comment, you know, toes and it's going to give them a free program? Or is this just like, I'm just going to put this one out? Is it a reel? Is it a post, a carousel? Is it like, and I'll literally have all this down so that, and as soon as I come up with the idea, I try to get this in as soon as possible, because then all those steps are already done. You've got the skeleton of the program. I've got the skeleton of this, but I know it's a reel. And then I can tell P like when I'm filming with her. So each of these videos, because it is a reel, I've got 6 movements. They're going to be about 3 seconds each. You know, like I can tell her straight away, I want this, I want that. And like, it can just, then when I go to film it, I'm like, okay, yeah. And then afterwards, what is like, even there it says caption. What is the one thing that I'd like to write in the caption that's going to, you know, link back to that video that's going to say XYZ. So I've got that all written out before I've even gone and filmed with her. But again, it can only happen when I'm in a place, because it's content creation if I'm creative. And if I'm not, then I ain't going to do any of that shit.
I find that like my scheduled like creative time is like, it's a Friday afternoon.
That's
the end of my week,
time, dude.
I'm crap in the afternoons anyway. Right? Because all my creative stuff happens first thing in the morning, but all my mornings are blocked right now. With other things, and I'm just thinking out loud as you're saying all this. I'm like, Al's looking at me like, Mav,
we are not rewriting the scripts that we've been taking time to do.
I just need to prioritize it if I want this thing to be better.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, having all the followers, great. But like getting followers to become customers of a business. How do you do that?
I'm still working on that side of it. Yeah, I really am, because I never, I have also like in the background, I guess what underpins it all, I've never been someone who's like super money driven. Like I've just never, I have a big desire for connection and a big desire to help people. But I've just never been that business mindset. I've been like, I had a great upbringing, you know, and I've been very lucky in like the people and the places that I've met. So I've just never had that real strong drive for it. But I'm starting to like understand and just link them together that like, hey, yeah, I know, but like money is going to give you the opportunity to come to Hong Kong or you know, and go and do these, like try to interlock it a little bit more without it becoming in my head that like, you know, money is this is the root of all evil and all this stuff. Like, no, it's not, but it's going to help open up these doors a little bit more. So trying to make it more linked to future opportunity in regards to the other things that I do truly value is important. I don't even remember the
like linking. Well, it's like linking back. I guess it's like, have you seen from those 50K more followers? Have you seen like a massive uptick in your business?
Yes, in regards to there's other things that I did. It wasn't just the following.
Yeah.
It was spending time with a business mentor. So I did some work with James Smith, and I did his online business mentorship, and understanding a lot more of the systems and processes behind that, and actually moving from, say, just the followers to, hey, yeah, sure, I can then put a link to a program.
Yeah.
People don't commonly buy on that
Yeah.
link. They might click it. They want to see. Is a lot of that is often curiosity when someone clicks that link. Like, I wonder how much she's selling. I wonder what she's selling.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a buyer. But going down the route of like email marketing and sales funnels, understanding all of that. I actually said to a friend, I was like, I will never do email marketing. Like, I don't want like another thing to have to write an email about or something like that. And now I'm like, this is like, you know, James even said to me, he's like, where do you sit down and pay your most important bills? Like, where are you actually, you know, when you log into Instagram, it's a crowded room. You know, you're just scrolling through the next thing to the next thing. When you sit down to your emails, it's because you've got an email from the bank that you have to pay this thing, or you've got rent due, or, you know, you've had a surgery on your, I'm thinking on his knee, and his, you know, his doctor's emailed him here. Like, he doesn't like message you to buy now for your knee reco on Instagram. Like, we want these things to be important, and they're important parts of our business. So this is how we get them into valued space and valued time, is by getting them on emails. Sounds awful, but
it's
like,
true though, yeah.
That's where we catch our attention, to be able to offer them something that they couldn't even fathom that they needed at that time or wanted at that time. So it hasn't just been the followers. It's definitely been understanding that there's way more structure to it than, hey, click here and you're going to buy something.
I was just chatting to a guy today, same guy I was referencing earlier, the guy who's like on his online business journey. And I think one of my questions was, he said he was sat down with this guy. They went to some retreat in Koh Samui.
Okay.
And they were talking about, I think there's a whole room of basically guys under this guy's mentorship.
Okay.
So basically a whole bunch of online business coaches trying to grow themselves, trying to grow their businesses. And he said he sat down with one of the guys who was the biggest earner in the room and was like, what are you doing? What are you doing differently to all of us that's allowing you to just crush it? And I think he said that the first question, if Kevin's listening to this, Kevin, I hope I get this right, but he said the guy's first question to him was like, how many messages did you send a month? A direct message on Instagram.
Okay.
I think it's Instagram, or just maybe all together. Kevin said 700 in a month. Straight away, I was like, holy shit. So I don't even send like 7.
Okay.
But he said 700 a month. And the guy said, okay, cool. That's what I do in a day. So he's at 700 cold leads on all his social media pages every day. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when I like take a good hard look at myself, and if I'm sitting here, you know, like waving my fist, being like, why am I not doing better? Or why are we not serving more people? I'm like, okay, there's just levels to this.
He's putting in that much effort.
And it's just like the amount of effort that he's putting in is just, it is 10x mine. Yeah. And therefore his business should be 10x mine.
Yeah.
So and then that's just one thing. That's just cold reach outs. I think there's so much that goes behind the scenes. So maybe Harriet, like, distill this for us, like for the beginner, and like keep it short, keep it sweet. But what's the shit that we don't know? We just see the posts and followers. I think that's what a lot of people think about. Like, I just got to put good content up. But you know, growing an online business and using, if you have a good personal brand, you know, following, like, what are some of like the little things, like fire them out, that we need to think about that contribute to actually growing a great online business?
Even you saying messaging, I message every single person back that messages me online. Like, there's not as many people, I would say, messaging me back, but that would be the first one. Like, but that's, you know, I guess derived from my need for human connection. Like, I genuinely want to message someone back. So I will offer, I will forever, in a way, by messaging back, offer free content.
Nice.
But not just the content that you see online, but if someone messages me and says, hey, here's a video of my ring muscle up, I'll be like, oh yeah, hey, real quick, here's a drill. And I'll just go online and I will take that 5 minutes to find a drill that I'm like, hey, this might work for you. Like, I have to draw a line there, but also I'm like, hey, why not? Like, that person will probably be like, I have so many messages back that said, oh my God, I can't believe you messaged me back. Yeah. And I'm like, of course, why not?
Just to cut you off though, as someone who has 200,000 followers, like, what is your inbox like though? Surely it's nuts.
Nah, it's not that.
Nah, it's not that many. No. Do you reach a point where like you get so popular that people stop messaging you?
I
Do you know what I
don't
mean?
think so.
I read
feel
this thing. I read this thing about like the rise.
Maybe because people do start thinking like, okay, you've got X amount of followers, like she's never going
That's
to
what I
message me
think.
back. Oh, nah.
No,
like,
but I mean, you've been
how
great
long does
with
it
me.
take to be like I'll send a voice memo as well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and do you know what I honestly think as well, that James Smith, like that's why I think I've never met the guy. I think we're best friends.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't think that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's voice memoed me, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, we're bros.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love that. I love that someone's like, oh, Harriet,
this
oh
way.
yeah, we're friends. She messaged me back about that. Then you've made literally a connection for life. And I'm not even doing that for the value of their business. I'm just like, how cool that someone thinks that of me. That makes me feel great, you know?
I
Like
totally
I've
agree.
bought them a present. I'm like, oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's exactly what, people have done for me. And I've thought, oh, that, you know, the fact that I can reciprocate that. I'm like, that's sick.
Okay,
That's awesome.
respond to every message. I
Okay.
totally agree. Love it. What else?
Yeah, look, I guess what we spoke about is not playing the game because creativity wins, or sounds bad. You don't want to play the game, especially now of you can't be boring.
Yeah.
You really can't. Like, it sounds so bad, doesn't it?
That's
you
true.
can't be boring. Like, there's too
our
many
attention
people
span's
fighting for
too
attention.
short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't be boring. Like, and if that means that you have to play the game a little bit, like sometimes I'll put up a drill. I'm like, you know what? This is probably not going to serve people that well, but like, hey, this is kind of funky. This is kind of cool.
Do you think
like,
about shit like, okay, I could do this handstand drill wearing like long leggings and like a jumper, or if I just strip down to a sports bra?
do you know what? There's got to be an element of like, you know, I get more likes
sure.
if I'm wearing a bikini, if I'm not. Like, of course. I never feel like I've played that game too much. You know,
But you know, it does make sense though, because I think I felt that way for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I'm not going to sell my soul to Instagram. But then it's like, well, I'm putting out the same content. By the way, like the bikini thing doesn't really work for me. Like personally, like it doesn't for you. As in like if
I would click on it if you were wearing a bikini. I'm just
that's
saying.
what I was
like,
saying. I'm like, but it's true. Like if I'm showing my average rig with a shirt off versus shirt on, always does better.
Yeah.
But there was a long period where I was like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like my first Instagram days were just like Ed having a good time. Very similar with you.
Yeah.
You know, like it was me at a Vegas pool party, like lying on the sofa. One of my clients was actually like, why the fuck are you posting that? I was like, I was in Vegas having a great time. Isn't that what Instagram's for? She's like, I come to you for coaching knowledge.
Exactly.
And you're putting that stuff up there. It's
100%.
like, it doesn't feel right. And then I was like, oh shit. And I actually went completely down the other route where it's like, okay, I only need to now post coaching content because that one comment from my client.
Yeah.
And so I actually became, I think like this, the world saw me as like this nerdy, really boring, like coach, educator. And when Meg first joined this team, and she sat in our first team meeting, and we're all like taking a piss out of each other and slagging each other off. She was like, oh my God, you guys are so much funnier in real life. I was like, am I not funny on Instagram though? She's like, no.
But then it's like, that you're not boring because you're like captivating people by your education.
I guess I just felt like I wasn't showing my personality. I don't know if I do that anymore. I try. I think one of the biggest
definitely
compliments.
don't. And that's probably the biggest thing that I would say, like, I think you said it before, like, what would you change or regret? Like, I do not show my personality at all.
Would you change that?
Yeah, probably.
Because you were just saying like you're just a bit loose, a bit nuts.
Yeah.
Right. And like you and the girl, you would just be posting all this shit of you. Yeah. And then so actually one of my questions could be like, why don't you post that stuff?
I guess maybe it's because of that comment that you got from your client is that that's not what my client wants. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is now a business. This isn't my personal page. And that's not speaking to them. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess like that would be the, you know, I can do it in tiny booty shorts and a tiny bra. And like, yes, sometimes I'm not like wearing fully clothed or whatever, but like my 20 to 40-year-old is not jacked and not this and not that. Like they don't want that at the end of the day. But sure, might get more likes, might get more this and that, but it's not actually speaking to my client. And it's a business page now. Yes. It genuinely is. It's like, yes, I should probably share a couple more things about this, that, and the other. But also now I'm like, I almost like hold that sacred. And since I would probably say that's changed over the past year, there is 50,000 more people watching. I'm like, do I want to share like this. It's like kind of like a sacred space for me now. Like I don't really want to share heaps of photos of like I was going to say my partner, but he's like, don't ever post me on your page. Like, like he doesn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But like my dog and my this and my that, like there is parts of me that I'm like, no, you actually like, I think it's a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, unless you know me, like you don't get that. Like bad luck. Like this is something that I'm sharing a lot of stuff online, and unless you get to know me, then bad luck. You don't get the rest.
Yeah, that's 100% my wife's stance on social media.
Yeah.
Which I just didn't get for so long, but I totally get it now.
Yeah.
Like 100% understand why she does that and why she believes in that. And it's something that I think because I don't have a very big following, I just don't think about that. I'm like, oh, no one's actually looking at my shit anyway. Yeah. But it's like, she's like, you know, there are.
How many people have you got following you now?
I think I'm like somewhere between 13 to 14.
And if you had 200, do you think?
It's just like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, true. 100%.
Right. It's like, I just see that and I'm like, that just feels like I'm never going to be
And now
there.
I look back the other way. Like I said, I was in my archive stories and I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe I shared that.
Yeah.
Like I have one girlfriend who's like even more wild. Like when we hang out, like shit gets crazy. And like I would have her like walking down the street and like flashing her ass and stuff like this. And I'm like, to think about putting that on my page now, I'd be like mortified. Yeah. Like, and so I couldn't look forward, and I wouldn't if I were you either, but it will change when you realize that. You know?
I think Al actually looked at my Facebook page and was like, mate, you got to shut this down. I was like, I haven't been on this Facebook page in like literally 15 years. And I had a quick scan through. I was like, holy shit, this is incriminating stuff. Like,
we have our Christmas party coming up at Mahi in the next coming weeks. And I've literally gone on, sorry guys, hopefully they don't see this. I've gone on everyone's Facebook page and I've pulled these like statuses. I pulled these old photos and I'm like going to put them up at the Christmas party being like, who said this? Who did this? And like, it is bad.
Yeah. You wouldn't find anything on mine. I've got 0 photos.
Oh, there
now.
we go.
Yeah.
Good. I need to do that.
Yeah. Harriet, this has been awesome. I've loved like connecting the dots in your story. We have a closing tradition on this podcast, which you know.
Okay, love it.
It is a question.
Yeah. Yep.
And the question is, what's a quote or a mantra that resonates with you right now?
My biggest thing that I've been working on probably the most in the past year, and this hasn't just been with like coaching my business, this is kind of with my life, is I'm a big planner. I end up just like planning the shit out of everything, getting that dopamine hit, and then never actually actioning anything. So my biggest thing that I'm focusing on now is less time in the planning phase.
Tell me more. How are you actioning that?
It's kind of
just
that
going
thing
with
when
the flow, or what's that? What does that mean to you?
Actually, for example, if I could sit there and write all those notes on the video that I'm going to post online, right? And I love that part of it, you know, like writing down all the notes and all the videos that I could film, and what the caption is going to be, where it's going to lead to, how it's going to go down the sales funnel. But me actually doing the thing, me actually going to film it and posting it is kind of like, by the time I've done all the planning phase, like I'm pretty happy now. I'm pretty content. Like feel like I've already dug deep into it. Or I'm a big ideas person. Like you said, your notes page is nuts. So is mine, because I've got 17 more businesses I'm going to start. Yeah. But I never actually do it, and I never take it to that next step, and I never actually action that thing. And I could spend forever in that little happy place of planning. And nice. I don't want to be there, because it's not actually what elicits change or builds a business or, forces you to make progress. It's not a good place to be.
I love it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you stay a lot in the planning phase?
I don't actually.
Okay, cool.
I think I think I just like don't do enough of the planning, actually.
Beautiful.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, I get like a whiff of an idea, and I will come like barnstorming into this office, grab like 3 of my team members, like, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
I want it done. We're going to do it by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa. And you know, I've done that so many times over the last 16 years of this business. And a lot of those times, like, a lot of them have turned out terribly.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, actually a bit of planning here.
Yeah.
would have told me this was a terrible idea. It would have made it way smoother. But I guess a good thing to pull out of all of it is I'm never afraid to just do it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm happy to just go in head first.
And I feel that in regards to like that impulse, like I have very much that like I want to do it and I want to do it now. But in regards to, I would say this quote or whatever that I've said is more in regards to like my everyday like mundane tasks, like getting that email done or getting this done, getting that done. It's more so like the everyday pieces that I can sit in that planning phase, as opposed to like, I'm very impulsive as well. I'm like, we're going to do these 17 different things, but actually, you know, sitting down and sending out that email that you've been meaning to send, like I can plan out that email, I can think about all these things, but like actually pressing send or writing that new program or starting programming for the next week, like I'll just keep planning out the whole phase, but never actually write it.
See, I think still thinking about that now, I still think I'm more of like a doer.
It's good.
Like I have that. Very like section.
I want to be like that. Yeah, what should I do?
My to-do list is like every day I will check in on that thing and I'll just tick things off the box. I don't let things stay there.
Yeah.
And I think I'm good at just really understanding what's urgent versus what's important.
Yeah.
And they're two very different things, right? It's like you got to get the urgent shit done.
Yeah.
The important stuff can wait till tomorrow or next week. Yeah. But it's like making sure when you say that important thing can be done next week, you got to know when next week that's going to be done.
Yeah.
It can't just be like sometime over the next 14 days. Yeah. It's like, look at the calendar. Okay, Tuesday at this time, that shit's going to get done.
Time blocking.
Yeah,
Love it.
Exactly. Harriet, where can people find out more about you and how can they work with you?
So you can check me out on my Instagram, Harriet Roberts. I'm also working on my website, my other Instagram page, Mahi Movement, just trying to make it less of, I guess, my gym space and more connecting with different programs that you can jump in on. So jump on there. And again, if you message me, I'll message you back.
You'll message you back. Maybe even get a voice note.
How about it? Yeah, why not? I love it.
Harriet, thank you so much for taking time out of your short trip in Hong Kong to join me here. This has been great. We've been talking about this for quite a long time and you did it. Thank you.
Actioned.
But no, you know, I've learned a lot today.
So good.
Like just, you know, hearing about social media, like you're human after all, that's kind of like been this kind of like weight off my shoulders. Yeah. You have days where you just don't have anything and that's okay. But like, you know, you're still putting in the work and you're seeing all the growth and I wish you the best of luck on the business and I'm sure you're going to do amazing things. If one of those 17 businesses are actioned, I'm sure you're going to crush it.
How good. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. I love it.
Before we say goodbye, here's one crazy statistic for you. Did you know that almost 40% of people who listen to the show don't actually subscribe to it? Now, I didn't think that was a big deal until I actually learned about the power of hitting subscribe. For you, the listener, you get to stay up to date when we drop episodes on a weekly basis. But for us as a podcast, it really helps our visibility and helps us attract great brands and great listeners to help grow this podcast. So if you enjoyed this episode or you're a big fan of the show, please do us a massive favor and hit subscribe. Thank you so much.